different, personalities out there. Like we've had Rams fans, Bengals fans, Lions fans, but instead of going after a specific team, we decided to go right to the heart of fandom. And there's not a better city to talk to than Cleveland, often misunderstood, underrepresented. Just almost feel bad for the city of Cleveland. Do you, Biggie?
I do feel very bad for the city of Cleveland. If you are a Cleveland sports fan overall, you've had your heart broken more times than you can count, yet you keep going to the games.
They are loyal like no other base. Buffalo is right there with them. I'll give Buffalo a little shout out, but they've got some success here lately that Cleveland would like to have. But anyway, we got a gentleman who's, I think he's written a book. He's a motivational guy. He's got, I guess, even though he's kind of a self-help motivational mindset guy, I read that he once found a failed Cleveland sports event for every single day of the year. So I mean, I that's kind of an oxymoron if there ever was one. But joining us now is a man. We're just gonna call him Phil Barth. Welcome to the show. How's it going, Phil?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, there were a couple days I couldn't find at the time, but pretty much every day of the year I found 400 events. And one of the days that I couldn't find was Christmas Day, but fortunately this year the Browns bombed in Green Bay, so Christmas Day, check that baby off the list.
Man, that's depressing to have that many memories, and he did that without Google, from what I understand. So that shows, that means it cuts deep. That's a real deep cut.
So you're talking about deep cuts, and I know Chad had a couple different things he wanted to bring up, but I got to get to this right away. I love the game of basketball. You're talking deep cuts. One of those days is the first time LeBron decided to leave Cleveland. I recently saw where he's on a team 10 games under 500 for the first time since he was a rookie in Cleveland. He has left open the door to a return to Cleveland. As a diehard fan of everything Cleveland, are you opening the door to a LeBron return?
For the next time, the second time. He says yes right off the bat, not even thinking about it.
Well, okay, so let's go back. In 2010 when he left, I was like, we hate you, LeBron. Sure. I burned my LeBron James jersey, in a safe fire, but it was terrible. But then he came back and he gave us the one thing that no other team in my lifetime has given, and that was a championship. And it was LeBron. I mean, when you watch that series against Golden State, they had the best team in the NBA. Oh, yeah. And he was like, no, I'm going to take over. I don't care who you got on your side. I'm going to take over and I'm going to dominate and I'm going to win the game. So given that, and given the mix of young talent they have right now, I'd take him back. Sure.
Okay, so you don't feel like it'd mess up the chemistry? Because here lately, LeBron's not been the best guy on the court as far as chemistry goes. But I understand a championship's hard to not look past.
If you're getting LeBron in the next couple of years, you get Bronny too. So
maybe that's what it is. You get Bronny.
Play. You got to worry about chemistry because they do have really good chemistry right now. And last I checked, they're 6th in the conference, with a team that nobody expected them to do anything with this year, and a team that has been just ripped by injuries. They lost 2 starting guards for the year. Yeah. Jarrett Allen and Mark Cannon have both been hurt and out at different times. So for them to be in 6th, it is a testament to the chemistry and a team working together, as long as they could be assured. And I think with the coach they have, they could be, that he would fit in. I would take him.
You know what it is, Biggie? It's not the coach. It's that GM they got now, Mr. Mike Gansey.
Good old West Virginia boy. He can make anybody get along. That's what we do down here.
I've been to West Virginia. I know.
All right. So I got to ask, starting out here, just the jersey you're rocking right here. Who you representing?
So this is a throwback. It's Chris Spielman. So,
nice.
Spielman never played a regular season game for the Browns. When they came back after their exile from Art Modell, Spielman wanted to play near his hometown of Sandusky, Ohio. And I grew up near Sandusky, Ohio. So they worked in trade. I want to say it was with the Buffalo Bills to just get him a spot back there. Super guy. He had taken a year off to help his wife while she had cancer.
I remember that.
And just incredible guy. He got hurt in the preseason, but I got the jersey and I still, Sandusky, Ohio, and Chris Spielman.
Hey, and you know what? The story about him and the wife and him being an Ohio guy, like that's respect. I got that. So what about over your shoulder though? I see some bats and even a hockey stick. So
Okay.
what significance are those?
And by the way, there's one more reason I'm wearing a Spielman jersey because I don't know what quarterback jersey to wear right now, but we can get to that later.
Spurgeon win is what I would write.
There you go. North Texas State, drafted just before Tom Brady.
That sounds made up, but that's awesome trivia drop right there.
Yeah, we're over it in Cleveland. Okay, so up top, that is a hockey stick. It was the Cincinnati Stingers from the World Hockey Association. I found it in a thrift shop. The only name I recognize, and I'm going to flake on him, he does hockey commentary for ESPN. Rocks the real good mullet.
Barry Melrose.
That's the guy. So it's got Barry Melrose autograph on there, among others.
Nice. Curious, a few years ago, my dad had a cousin, Dana, lived up in Cleveland. We come watch Browns and Indians and Cavalier games when they were really bad in the mid to late 90s. Cleveland Jacks were like an IHL hockey team. Are they still around? Been gone for a long time?
They have one. I don't know the name. They had a World Hockey Association team and then an NHL team for a while, but I got nothing from them. The Crusaders and the Barons were their names.
I remember the Barons.
It's minor league. And then one down from there is a Hank Aaron autograph baseball bat.
Nice.
And, the second one down is Willie Mays, and then on the third level down is Casey Blake from the Cleveland Indians. So,
well, damn, we got a guy that's like a big baseball dude, and he's missing out on the Hank Aaron autograph bat and the Willie Mays autograph bat. That's I mean, this is mostly his stuff here behind us, and we don't have anything that nice.
It was Sam's Club carried him many years ago, and they decided to get out of the business. And I walked in, and they were clearance price. I'm like, yes and yes. Boom.
All right. So is the wall also painted? Is that Brown's color? Is that what
that is Brown's color? Yeah. That's about the extent of it for the Browns. I didn't want to go like brown and then another orange wall or anything like that. You got limits.
So we'll go into the Browns and some things here in a second, but I want to ask, because I did know that you had written a book, or you're in the process of writing a book. So what all went into that?
So the backstory is, and this was about 10 years ago, there were three of us were at lunch, two of us Cleveland fans and one of just Cincinnati guy. And we kept bemoaning the fate of the Cleveland sports teams. And the Cincinnati guy goes, "Oh, it can't be that bad." And I said, "Look, I'll bet you if I did some research, I could find a Cleveland sports tragedy for every day of the year." And so I started publishing this email on this day in Cleveland sports history. I didn't find one, like I said, for every day of the year. You got Christmas, February 29th doesn't happen that often, et cetera. But I found something. And so what I did was I took the best or worst, depending, of those and broke them out by Indians and Cavaliers and Browns, and then put some stories behind it, what it was like growing up as a Cleveland fan, witnessing the drive and the fumble and the shot and Red Right 88 and all those tragedies. But at the same time, it was written in 2016. So I had the Cavaliers championship to kind of give it a happy ending.
There you go. So what is the most tragic sports moment for you personally?
For me personally, I think it was Red Right 88 in 1980. Brian Sipe was, I think everybody has a moment when they fall in love with a team. And for me in 1980, it was the cardiac kids of the Cleveland Browns. So every week they'd be down or tied, and Sipe would drive them down the field and steal victory from the jaws of defeat. And they won the division. And there they were playing in really frigid temperatures in Municipal Stadium. And they were down most of the game. They stopped the Raiders and they started driving down. And I'm just sitting there going, we're going to win again. And all of a sudden he drops back and he throws. The play was Red Right 88. And if he didn't find somebody open, he was supposed to throw the ball in Lake Erie, but he threw the ball into Mike Davis, was the name of the Raiders defensive back's hands.
Man, so I see the evolution of being a Cleveland fan just in that statement, because he said, looks like we're going to win again. And I know now with all the scars that you would never have that mentality now, would you?
Never. Like, okay, when they beat Golden State and they were winning, and they were up by 2, and LeBron fell down, and he was limping with his ankle. He was going to get free throws. I was like, holy crap, he's going to miss both free throws. Golden State's going to take it down, and here we go again. It didn't end that way, but you get enough scars, and you're like, well, how are we going to screw this one up?
Are you a Ohio State fan at all?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so I know that's not Cleveland, but at least that gives you some outlet for success, right?
Correct. Yeah. And that goes back to my dad never was much of a pro sports guy, but he loved the Buckeyes. And so
what? Wait, we just got breaking news that the Raiders got Davante Adams.
Wow.
That's amazing.
The AFC West is like this arms race. It's unbelievable.
With the moves they made on the defensive side of the ball in that division, it was like everyone was going after stopping Mahomes. Now the Raiders are just trying to catch up with what the Chargers have done.
So great segue into some more NFL talk. So, wow, Davante Adams is a Raider. All right, so we knew the Browns were going hot and heavy after Deshaun Watson. They're officially out of that now, correct?
Correct.
All right, and Baker Mayfield now has felt like the spouse has been cheated on a little bit, and he's not taking it very well. And I know he's demanding a trade now, but I was like, well, yeah, Baker, we've been trying to trade you. It just didn't work out. So just kind of unpack what this is as a Browns fan, just how you feel about Baker, how you feel about the situation, and like, what is the right ending and solution for all this?
Okay, I can tell you how I feel. I don't know what the right ending is, but I can tell you how I feel about it. A lot of Cleveland Browns fans, I think, are still pissed off from when Baker played for Oklahoma. He came into Columbus, he beat the Buckeyes, and he planted the Oklahoma field or the Oklahoma flag in the middle of the field. And I know some of my friends are still not over that, even though they're Browns fans. So I think that was working against him in some people's minds. I don't think I don't know if he's the answer or not, but I do know this. When Baker Mayfield came to Cleveland from 1999, when they came back to when he started his first game, they had 30 starting quarterbacks. In their entire history before 1999, they had 29. So going back 50 years, 29, 20 years, 30.
Right.
And he stopped that bleeding, right? I did an analysis and I looked like the New York Giants. If you went 30 quarterbacks at that time back from, it was Eli Manning at the time. If you went 30 quarterbacks back, the last 4, 27, 28, 29, 30 were all dead and they all lived to old age. I mean, it's just, so people forget just how Spurgeon win, right? People forget just how awful quarterbacking was before he got here. And people also very quickly forgot that last playoffs, not this one, but the one before, he went into Pittsburgh and beat them.
Right.
He went into hell and pulled out a win. And the last time the Browns won on the road before Baker did that was 1968. Man hadn't even walked on the moon yet. So
a play away from winning in Kansas City.
Exactly.
A missed call away maybe from winning in Kansas City.
Exactly. So now, having said that, he was bad this year. I mean,
right.
He was.
So let me ask you this before you kind of go into that. Like, he should have just sat down when he was hurt, right? Like, I think part of the fan base can appreciate the grittiness, but is this the conversation we're having about Baker Mayfield if he gets, labrum surgery back in October?
No, I don't think it is. I think that's what he should have done. And I think the coach should have said, you're going to sit down. I don't know the dynamics. I don't know how that all worked out. I don't know what Stefanski could or could not do, would or would not do. I don't know how he felt about Case Keenum, but yeah, we would not be having this conversation if he had sat down and gotten it taken care of. I don't think we would.
How did it feel to see OBJ go out to LA and end up having the second half of the season he had? That one hurt.
Yeah. And he's going to say, see, I told you I was right. But what people got to remember is when they traded for him, we were all like, yes, OBJ's coming here. He didn't come. He sat out almost the entire preseason. He's working out in LA and they let him do it and they let him get away with it. And then he came and he wasn't on the same page as Baker Mayfield. Well, big surprise.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, he got on the same page with Matt Stafford in a hurry. So, obviously that seemed to work. He didn't want to be there from the start, in my opinion, and the chemistry wasn't there. And the other thing that I was ready for him to go when they played out in Los Angeles for the Chargers. The cities keep moving, right? When they played the LA Chargers, it was 4th and 2. Baker dropped back and hit him in the numbers, and he dropped the damn ball.
I know exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, okay. And they lost by less than a score. So of course people wanted him to go at that point. And Baker won't throw me the ball. I wouldn't either if it was 4th and 2 and you dropped it,
The other thing too, he went to the Rams, and he might have benefited just a little bit from having what's his name, Cooper Kupp. Yeah. Might help take a little attention away from, nothing against Jarvis Landry, but he's not Cooper Kupp. But so you guys lost Jarvis Landry, but you picked up Armani Cooper. So I mean, are you feeling like depending on how the quarterback situation shakes out, did they kind of come out ahead here when it comes to the offense, or what are your thoughts?
It's probably a break even at this point. They're going to replace J.C. Treader at center. They cut him for salary cap. I'm trying to think who else they cut. The tight end, Hooper. They cut him for salary cap. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here, right? We know that Deshaun Watson's not coming. So there's got to be some moves there where they backfill at tight end or something.
So is your next quarterback on a different team last year, starting for you this year? You doing something through the draft? Where are you going?
They'll probably draft somebody, but it's a lousy draft for quarterbacks. So I don't think you'll draft somebody and have them starting right away. But you got to take a shot in the draft. They were talking, the rumor was maybe they could do something with Carr from the Raiders, but if the Raiders are starting to load up, they're not going to trade their veteran quarterback.
They're not. Before he got his deal here recently, I kind of thought with Stefanski having come from Minnesota, you guys might make a play for Kirk Cousins.
That could be. That's very possible. They may try to convince Baker to stay. I know he asked for a trade. They told him no. One thing about Baker Mayfield is if you want to see him at his best, tell him he can't do something. Make him feel slighted.
Yeah, piss him off.
Piss him off. Right.
That's the plan all along.
Could be. So maybe that's the plan. A pissed off Baker Mayfield playing for a big contract could be the answer.
It might be. That'd probably be the best case scenario at this point. So, all right, enough Cleveland Browns talk. We only got a little bit of time left. So I want to switch over to a topic that I know Biggie and myself feel pretty, one way about it, but we're not a Cleveland baseball fan. And I was looking and I couldn't find the schedule for the Indians anywhere. It's now the Guardians, or was that the roller derby team?
When I went to see Guardians, I found roller derby.
So we were looking at like season tickets for roller derby, but we're not sure how that's going to shake out. So and again, we try to be respectful and PC for the most part, but it just seems kind of odd, the name. How do you feel about it? Does it rub you the wrong way, or is it just time to move on? And honestly, I think I saw that Cleveland's got one of the bottom 3 payrolls maybe this year. So how are you feeling about the baseball season in the direction of Cleveland baseball?
All right. So there's about 3 questions in there. Let's talk about Guardians. Let's talk about Guardians first. I don't get how Indians was less respectful than Braves. I had a friend, he passed away a while ago, but he was Native American and he loved the Indians names. I don't think he was crazy necessarily about the Chief Wahoo logo, but they got rid of that years ago. But he loved that name. And I didn't see the need to get all PC with it. It's not going to make me stop liking the team. I can live with Guardians. Logo's a little hokey, but I can live with it. Now, next question. How do I feel about their chances this year? Not great yet, because they just opened the season, open season on trades and everything. And the Reds are just basically having a fire sale. The A's
don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about the Reds.
I feel your pain because I live in the Cincinnati area and I like going to a baseball game. And a buddy of mine said, hey, they got a minor league team down here in Cincinnati we ought to go see.
Yeah, tickets will probably be extra cheap this year.
Yeah, but anyway, so all these teams are having this fire sale, and the Indians, I'll never get over it. The Guardians are not buying, right? Jesse Winker went out to Seattle and they basically gave him a fungo bat and a catcher's mitt or something back. And then the Guardians say, yeah, we tried to get in on that deal, but we couldn't offer as much. It's like Seattle gave him some 27 and 26-year-old guys. Come on. So I'm a little
prospects that are like beyond good prospect status because they're old now.
Well, you also took on Suarez's contract, so that helped.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But yeah, you got to make some moves here. And I would have thought they could have possibly taken on Suarez and moved Ramirez over to second. I don't know, but it just seems like they could have done something because outside of Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes, that lineup is just a suck zone.
When are those guys getting traded?
Well, that's the problem. It's like we're not doing anything. So which direction are we going?
Yeah, you don't want to be like the Rockies who gave all that fuss about Arenado and then they turn around and sign Chris Bryant for that big deal. And I don't even understand that.
I totally don't get that. Totally don't understand that one.
So I do have a theory about why they're the Guardians above any other name is because on the jersey, on the one half, it'll still have the IANS. And that way they don't have to work as hard to like go back and Photoshop all their old stuff.
It does. The logo looks remarkably similar. I was like, yeah, that's interesting.
So if it wasn't the Guardians, would you have picked a different name?
I was thinking something about Cleveland Rocks, Cleveland Rockers. I don't know. They wouldn't have to pay.
I'd go with that.
See, go with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I agree with you. If they were going to change, go there.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have had to pay off the roller derby team besides. So that would have been a bonus.
All right. Well, Phil, I want you to kind of do one thing for me as we wrap up here, because, we talked a lot about Cleveland, some current events and things like that going on. But if we're in high school, you're a high school senior and you got to write an English paper and an essay, you just have to give a quick synopsis on what it's like being a Cleveland sports fan. Because honestly, we're West Virginia University fans here. And we never win anything. And we have an expression we call waiting for the fall because we love football season, but then we also just wait on the fall, right? We know it's just going to boom, fall on your face. So knowing that you kind of feel similarly being a Cleveland sports fan, just what's the epitome of that altogether to try to get the nation to understand exactly what it's like to be that Cleveland sports fan?
So it starts with the epic stories of failure, be it when the 1997 World Series, when you're this close and you lose, and the World Series loss to the Cubs and how your heart's broken, and then the even more epic failures of the Browns for 2 years winning one game and so on. But then the conclusion is, in the end, hope springs eternal. And every year when it turns spring, and I complain about the Guardians, but I'll watch them on MLB and network and same deal when football comes, especially now. I mean, few years ago, I'd watch maybe one half of the first Browns game and like, okay, screw this. No, but in general, hope springs eternal. And when you look, especially right now, at all three Cleveland franchises, they are remarkably well run. They have three of the best front offices in sports. I mean, the Indians, you know what
it is again. Hey, at least it's not the Commanders.
No kidding. Talk to me in a year or two. I might have it down. But the Guardians they're populating other front offices with their talent because they got it so good and their manager is really good. And so with all of that talent in the front office and coaching, hope springs eternal.
I don't think I could say it any better, but that's all we hope. What do they say in the Shawshank Redemption though? Hope can be a dangerous thing though. So you gotta be careful. That prison's in Ohio too. We've been to that. So hey, you know what? A little Ohio history going on today. Well, Phil, man, we appreciate you coming on, even if it was just for a few minutes, man. We tried to get you last week. We ended up canceling the show, but we were glad we were able to reconnect with you. And as more and more exciting things happen with Cleveland sports in the future, maybe we can get you back on and we can talk more about it down the road.
Love to. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on.